Member for your supplementary, please go ahead. Supplementary.
Madam Assistant Speaker, I join leaders of this Honourable House to congratulate you on taking up the chair. It's a progressive move for women in the country. My supplementary, Assistant Speaker, is to the good Prime Minister. The honourable question by the honourable member for North Fly was how were the departments funded? Last year, notwithstanding revenue shortfalls with respect to non-tax revenue performance, this government, the Marape government, borrowed 3.983, almost 4 billion kina in borrowings. That took the total borrowing of the Marape government to 37 billion kina since 2019, increasing our national debt to 62 billion kina. These are massive, whopping amounts of debt and borrowing. So what happened to this 4 billion kina that was borrowed, and why weren't these commitments by ministers honoured for the member for North Fly and his district? Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Madam Assistant Speaker, a very good question, supplementary question, rather, from the learned Deputy Opposition Leader. If we all understand budgeting, the 3.9 billion, as he said it, is part of the overall financing framework for 2024. This government is very disciplined. Our focus in fiscal consolidation remains. Fiscal consolidation, me like make him talk pisin because all man very long stop outside to all need lo haram display. There's plenty of time you may make him talk English, some of the time fancy too much. All man very lo place only no kiss him talk pisin good. Fiscal consolidation, I mean him also last 5 years, maybe the focus will bring him back budget limit come back long surplus or balanced budget by 2027. And so time people like him government, people like he go first in focus at first, and our key focus was restructure of our economy and the fiscal position people are inheriting. In 2018 or 2019 rather, as we took office, our finances were very, very weak. When you look at the actual numbers may give you a 62 billion kina figure in terms of debt, but percentage is the key. Percentage to economy, percentage to the size of the economy. The debt that we took, the actual kina may sound big, 3 billion kina, 2 billion kina, 4 billion kina, but when you stack it up against the size of the economy, we are still reducing back. Debt to GDP globally is above 80%. Most economies have a debt to GDP above 80%. Our country's debt to GDP has now fallen below 50% for the first time in the last 6 years, if I could put it this way. Now, why 6 years? I'm not comparing the O'Neill government's time in office. That belongs to that era. When he took office in 2019, the finances were even bad. We had to restructure the economy. And to restructure the economy takes some time. You have to borrow cheaply to pay off expensive, heavy debts of the past. That was something we had to do also. And so once we were restructuring the economy, the once in 100 years COVID-19 hit us. Globally speaking, Madam Deputy Speaker, Assistant Speaker, you look, all economies, all countries went on borrowing. You look in our region, average debt to GDP above 80% still. You will ask me, I'm replying this in a long way, Madam Assistant Speaker. I come back to a question block in. Let me ask him, how comes you borrowed 3.9 billion kina last year now? Money belong last year stuff where? Now 3.9 billion kina borrowed last year came within last year's money plan, all within all within the deficit, rather the deficit envelope we had in last year's budget. Treasurer, what is last year's deficit? Last year's deficit plan wasn't even beyond 3%. We were within our deficit plan of 2024. Money mix him last year, and we go fill him in this gap. Otherwise, but you don't have to give him full 10 million kina DSRP last year, including Suave. Now it's a case in point, reference point to government being equal and distributing equal right across. If we plan on raising this plan, a major part of our money plan would be slashed back. That was raised almost 100% as treasury focused. And so, me like giving my assurance to people of the country, last year's borrowing was not reckless. It was within our last year's money plan. Stick to this government to see whether by 2027 we come back to a surplus or not. The last time this country saw a surplus budget was when I was education minister. When I was education minister, that's 2010. The last time this country saw a surplus budget. The Honorable Puka Temu was deputy prime minister, and he was in government. It was surplus that time. Since then, we've been running deficit budget up till today. To turn a big economy back to clear water will take some reconstructing the economy. We borrowed cheaply to refinance expensive debt. We're maintaining a fiscal consolidation path to come back to responsible, balanced budget by 27. Treasurer's got a clear roadmap that by 2034, whoever is in government will be operating a country that has no debt inside. And Mila giving big labelli silo line man Mary place. This government's given more assistance to the economy. Who had removed tax from the small people, those who are earning under 20,000 kina a year? No one has done this since 1975. Logat man Rasim Takis, logat a liglik man Mary limit. The last time you mean making, you mean not take a Onil government, Abim come like 12,500. Maybe Abim go along 20,000 today. Small people don't pay tax anymore. In the middle of tough times, we got to get this revenue someplace to make sure we maintain budget support until we hit back a balanced budget in 2027. So, we'll give assurance local man Mary. This la money opposition leader or deputy opposition leader I'm talking. I think you should be opposition leader now meeting us. I'm talking here. I mean nubla money. I'm stop last year budget. This year budget, this year we down in Dina come down. Next year we down in Dina go down more. Until 27, but we come back to the budget with no Dina in our money plan. So it is within our 5-year fiscal path that Treasury has established. We didn't borrow any new money. The delayed response for 2024 money plan, apart from that 1.4 billion kina where you mean raising through non-tax revenue, may like also talk also January 10th, where Rascoli hit him, Port Moresby City. Now, disaster he come up long rain, tight water long, plenty have long country last year, as well as landslip long Mulitaka, and also had almost 1 billion kina take to the budget last year. So these are ways where we are affecting budget. Please, appreciating what we are doing. I'm sure when you hear, you would not do something much different from what we are doing. You'll be doing exactly the same, if not worse. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.